Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and toys who just came to life because the children just left the room. I am Ravishing Ravish, the most ravishing man on the internet, joined here by the truest lights. And we're ready to get into game number 1 for Holy Divers versus Gomie Gang. We're ready to picks and bans. True Light, how you feeling about the picks and bans so far? And how are you, by the way?
I'm doing great, Ravishing Ravish. This is great. Casting with you is absolutely fun time every single time. But as you said, we have Holy Divers here on the blue side versus Gomie Gang on the red. Into this first ban phase here, you can see Holy Divers banning away Lulu Urgot, while Gomie Gang have LeBlanc Caitlyn taken off the board. Caitlyn is something that not terribly surprised to see banned away, just because you're always seeing it. Although if you are going to be banning Caitlyn, I feel like that's indicating you're saying either you're pushing at least the blue team towards take the Ashe, and maybe Gomie Gang feels like they have an answer for it. Otherwise, Holy Divers, they round out their first ban phase with the Graves. And I honestly think that Lulu Urgot Graves overall are just really interesting bans, because it's just something that I don't personally see banned away very often, although I do know that Lulu is popping up in priority.
Yeah, it's Lulu, especially being quite a strong poke type support, as you can go ahead and use as a counter. Speaking of poke type supports, though, we see the B1 Karma locked in, coming in from Holy Divers, which could potentially be a flex pick as well. But considering the recent nerfs about it, it is matched with the Ashe coming in from Gomie Gang, and which I assume consider the Morgana is still up. I would like to see that possibly, or even the Nautilus as well. Might be a good pick here.
Yeah, but Gomie Gang, they elect to take the Olaf instead. Olaf just being so strong in that early to mid game. Usually he's on a bit of a timer. People say it cuts off at like 30 minutes or so, but definitely can be a complete menace in the jungle. Now, referring to the Karma pick that you just mentioned, yes, Karma did receive a nerf. It's 15 flat mana as a nerf onto her Q. Although I do feel like the champion can still be dominant in lane, you just can't spam your spells as much as you used to, or really as hard as you used to. But I do think it's quite interesting seeing the Jinx lock in from Holy Divers here. They're looking for some scaling, it looks like.
Scaling indeed, though, and Jinx I think is a really interesting pick, especially I've seen her rise more in priority as we go on. As a Zac is the answer to the Olaf coming up for Holy Divers. I do like that pick, coming with a bit of tankiness, a lot of engage coming out of them, so it's really solid. A Jinx, I was gonna say, I've seen rise more so in priority, especially she lands in the range of picks with those O10 power spikes, but on the other hand, you also have the Olaf, so Gomie Gang will be going for a lot of early power, and definitely trying to prioritize early trades, as there's a Morgana pick where I was saying earlier.
Yeah, so both teams going for the bot lane and the jungle lock-ins. Thinking about what you just mentioned there in terms of the dichotomy of junglers here, right? You have Olaf, who's defined by his ability to not be CC'd, have such a high degree of early pressure, clearing fast, ganking lanes, and trying to snowball everything forward. Whereas it's a bit of a contrast here on the other side of it for Holy Divers. They have the Jinx, who wants to scale up. They want Zac, who is a CC machine, and also just becomes this pick that has very long engages and is harder and harder to predict. So I think it's a really interesting comparison between the two things that have been locked in here. Now, you do see, though, into this second ban phase, Mordekaiser banned away by GG, and Holy Divers, they elect to ban away the Lux, which I think is kind of interesting, just because you're typically seeing Lux more often in the bottom lane nowadays.
Yeah, definitely. So Lux, I've seen, is usually the pick being taken into the Morgana, so you can go ahead and match almost binding for binding. She can also trade quite well early on, though, but since that's banned away, we likely won't be seeing that as a way to just for final bans. The Galio comes in for GCG, the insta ban with a Shen. Though Shen's actually a fantastic top laner, but in my opinion, it's like it offers a lot of global pressure, but the ban that I also know that's also a comfort pick coming in for the top laner of GCG too. So taking away that, just giving Holy Divers a lot more options.
Yeah, Shen is just that absolute dominant top laner that I've been seeing more and more in my games and in streams and tournaments, just because he's a bit of a do everything champion, right? He has global pressure, he has damage, he becomes incredibly tanky, he's able to 1v1 reasonably well. So I don't mind that Holy Divers in this second ban phase, they round it out with the Shen. You can also see GG there removing that other like another global champion, so to speak, by banning away the Galio. And Holy Divers, they elect to go for the Orianna. Maybe they think that'll just be fine as a blind mid because Vladimir can be flexed either to top or mid lane. But let's see what they lock in here for their own top lane pick, and it's going to be the Renekton.
The B5 Renekton comes in, which, you know what, I don't see it very often, but I absolutely love to see it go for early lane dominance. But this gives Gomie gang the ultimate counter pick to be able to go into it because the Vlad's like to go ahead, go mid into the Orianna. So I have to see what they're going to pick. It's I love this. I absolutely love this, and it's wait, what?
I think the timer didn't run out there. That looks like a Pike pick just locked in there, and that would have to go into the mid lane versus Orianna. I guess Gomie gang hoping that, I guess by locking in Pike, they'll be able to effectively pressure the Orianna. But I definitely think that was a curveball, to say the very least, as that final lock-in, especially into something like Ori that can be so defensive and potentially hard for Pike to lock down.
And we're also not sure because due to Pro Draft also bugging out, so this could definitely be a bug. We just have to wait as you go ahead and head into the client draft. I'm being told by a producer that it is definitely the Pike. So now I'm interested to see as to what the lane assignments are going to be so far here, truly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's rather straightforward here. That is, at least in my opinion, that should be a Pike mid. I haven't seen the Morgana flexed to either top or mid lane in a little bit at this point. Also, but I do think there is a definite possibility of sending that Pike into the bottom lane because there can be so much kill pressure, not just between Ashe Pike synergy with the slows from Ashe and the lockdown from Pike, but also you throw Olaf into that mix, and the moment a little bit of CC lands onto one of those targets, it's so hard to get away. And maybe that's why they want that Pike that could be flexed either at mid, like either into the mid role or maybe into the support role. But the lock-ins are coming through here in this champion select proper. Nothing too surprising seeing the Renekton and Vlad in that top lane.
Yeah, definitely. So what I'm looking at so far right now from the draft from Holy Divers is that they're looking to run down Gomie gang. With all of these picks, they want to make sure to be able to at least find one good pick, probably get a good shockwave or at least like one good stretching strike, one good let's bounce, and then have Jinx and Calm on the back line, just free firing away from almost everybody of Gomie gang.
Yeah, like you mentioned right there, that's a little bit of the idea that Holy Divers want to get in, and definitely they have pick possibility, but in terms of potential picks, I would actually give it over to Gomie gang being that pick-oriented comp, right? You take a look at Pike, you take a look at Morgana and Ashe, and they're hard to see, not counting Soul Shackles for Morgana, that is going to only be hitting like single targets right there. Olaf, another champion, great at hitting singular targets. Their huge AoE abilities are going to be coming in from the Vladimir with the Hemo Plague, with Tides of Blood, but there's not a whole ton of CC to be had on that, and I feel like that comp that wants to isolate a target out and then get a fight going. On the side of Holy Divers, you do have champions that can lock someone down single target, but you also have Orianna and Zac coming in with that combo, like you mentioned with Command Shockwave and with Let's Bounce.
And with all the picks being locked in, it will be the Pike going into the mid lane, into the Orianna, which is fascinating to me overall with all the picks that I've seen. So really going to be paying attention to the Pike and Ori matchup, because we know Pike, even as a support, he loves to roam and go ahead and affect other lanes. And I find that with the Morgana bot against the Jinx, both Jinx and Karma can pull quite a lot, and if Morgana isn't necessarily able to land her bindings, I imagine they should have. I imagine they should go pretty even in lane, if not go ahead and get priority. So I would really be looking at the mid as to see what kind of difference he makes, right? But up on the top side though, with Vlad and Renekton too, Renekton also same thing can be said there, should easily have lane priority, and imagine he'll be able to go ahead and TP down for bot lane fights or dragon takes.
Yeah, definitely Renekton being that classical lane bully champion, able to push in the wave a lot easier than Vladimir can early. One thing I do think Gomie Gang is going for, though, with the sending Pyke middle, is kind of what you touched on, right? Pyke is a champion that likes to roam. Now, if you combo a Pyke roam with an Olaf gank, with an Ashe Morg bot lane into Jinx Karma, that is a lot of kill setup. That is a lot of kill potential between all four of those champions, and perhaps that's what Gomie Gang wants to get done. They want, their mid laner to hit 6, and they want to have the setup available, and they want to just dogpile onto bot lane, make sure Jinx can't scale up, and close out the game through there.
They most definitely do. But with that being said, this should be an absolutely fantastic game. So do not click that mouse button. We'll be right back here on Style Esports. Welcome back, everybody, to Style Esports, and we're ready to get into game number one for Holy Divers versus Gomie Gang. As you already see, dive on the bot side. Quite has to use a flash, but pull back for the fight, and he dies already. First blood going over to Gomie Gang. That was clean.
Yeah, you can see there that the ping's instantly going down at that level 1 point. Poor Stir Fry on the side of Gomie Gang, he actually decided to elect to walk up to his lane. Doesn't see, though, that Stolen decided to go forward. But it doesn't look like the Zach's getting down any forward vision either. Gonna get caught out, maybe? Oh, okay, he did get the reward onto the red. Dodges the hook. Beautiful.
Back most definitely, like beautiful. I undercut way to and absolutely undercut way to describe it. One might say I'm so flustered because I'm honestly crying in just reverence. That's still like wow, that's the kind of stuff you love to see. But should go ahead and give the Olaf a small advantage because that's what you want to see on the Olaf, right? As an early game jungler, you want to see him get ahead and make an impact on the map.
Yeah, I mean, like, early game jungler indeed, but wow. Starting the game with that extra longsword, especially just considering the type of a champion that Olaf is, giving himself more attack speed, more lifesteal, that's going to feel really good, and that's just going to emphasize the ability for the champion to clear out that early jungle, get those ganks going, and proceed with that classical Olaf early game dominance. Otherwise, the other super painful thing for the side of Holy Divers here is you see that Circuit lost Flash, burning it after right before getting hooked. So not great because that will just incentivize Vuxdira to come back down, gank the Karma, and look for another kill.
Mm-hmm. I have to imagine too, though. But right now we're seeing, both, both the Ash and also the Morgana are actually pushing lane fairly well. But right now, as nice little like W going onto Ash, so it should result in a pretty even lane so far, and Olaf likely getting a full clear and then come back down bot side.
Mhm. Yeah, and you can see a careful ping went down onto Vuxdira as the red was taken. So Holy Divers, it looks like they have a pretty good idea of where the enemy jungler is pathing. Down in that bottom lane, though, that push is getting turned back into the side of, say, Shiki and Comfy Dog. But I think the thing that actually works out quite well for them, though, is that you can see Missing Link had Rocket Launcher out like that entire time, is completely out of mana, so that push can't be sustained.
Yeah, as Port Surfrash, she had to use the pull for the early trade already. This Recta is quite scary, and he doesn't want to take any extra damage at all, though. So let's go ahead and beat just waited for him. But we do see top side, though. Actually, Stolen is fighting against Vox, gets a lot of damage onto him, but Young Waters is there. A lot of slow flashes out. Gets the undertow onto two. Flashes over the wall. Ooh, both flashes down as well as the Pike is there for the support, but no kills will be had yet.
Yeah, a lot of action going through right there as Vuxdira and Stolen did run into each other. Flash was forced out from Vux.
I was gonna say Young Waters looks like he's in trouble up on the bot side. He's fighting against him. Stolen is there against the wall. Oh, but caught in the middle of two. We're gonna get the kill. He actually gets the 2v1 outplay and the heal back as well. What a mana is he going to get to? Oh, he pops the passive. Yes, he will. Oh, Vox, that was insane.
Yeah, absolutely insane, as you said right there. And the reason you heard me say, oh no, was because I realized Young Walrus was just getting completely chopped down by those dual axes that Olaf has. And the thing about Olaf, right, is that when you pop Vicious Strikes, that W, it gives you lifesteal, it gives you attack speed, but it also increases healing effects on Olaf. So if Vicious Strikes was active, and I think it was, as Young Walrus went down, that made the Triumph proc even stronger, meant that there was nothing that Stolen could do. The greater tragedy is that you see that Rare Candy even burning the TP in the attempt to keep his jungler alive. But TP looked like on a blob that had already died somehow, or TPing on a ward, because Stolen ended up dying. That's a burn of TP. That's a burn of two flashes. And so it's absolute tragedy on the side of Holy Divers as they're now 1.5k gold down at 5 minutes.
And all of those kills there, true, like went on to the Olaf, which we were saying before, how the one kill looks good, and then 3 kills looks even better. So well, I have to imagine that he goes ahead and makes a much larger impact on the map, as he's already on the dragon. He's gonna go ahead and solo it by himself, and look at that. But now you know he's bot side, and Stolen is there as well. Let's see if he gets any plays.
I don't think Stolen would want to look for anything, though, as Cell Division isn't available. That's usually what enables a Zac to play so aggressively. And in addition to that, take a look at the farm difference, right? Vux is up 18 farm. That's like, what, 2, 3 camps potentially? As opposed to Stolen, who's sitting at 25. Even looking at the levels, Vux is already 6. Ragnarok is available, whereas Stolen, he's still level 4, still trying to clear out and like stay hopefully even. But this Olaf is completely dominating that early game.
Yeah, like most definitely, just taking all these objectives around the map because you see making a difference. As he sees up in the middle, he doesn't get spotted by any ward. The young walrus uses speed up onto him, smite as well. Gets the undertow, but it looks like they don't want to chase his under tower.
Yeah, kind words only. You do see him go into that undertow, looking for the hook, looking for the stun.
Oh,
Find it.
misses the hook, pops the Ragnar, gets the ignite onto him too, sticking down. Nice shockwave coming from kind words to be able to get the trade kill back. That's a shutdown. Make that a double for young walrus. Ooh.
Yeah, the overcommit on the dive rate there. As I said, that Ragnarok is available, and when you pop Ragnarok as Olaf, yes, you get bonus AD. Yes, that means you do more damage, but there's a passive effect that Ragnarok has that I think a lot of people forget, and that's Olaf gets bonus armor and MR, but the moment you pop it, that bonus is lost, which means that Voxdira became so much less tanky under that tower, ended up taking way too many turret shots, and the heat up damage from that mid lane turret was able to not only kill Vux, but kill Kindwords only too, give a huge shutdown into the pocket of Young Walrus, and it looks like there's a pulse for Holy Divers.
We see as traps are set out though, but the Black Shield will go in and save them from it as Coffee Dog getting really low still goes onto the Chompers. Seishiki Goat has to go in and pop the flash to keep his support alive. But we do see Olaf roaming down as well. But so is Stolen. Enchanter Crystal miss. Will not get anybody at all. But so Stretching Strikes will. Black Shield going to save it. Circa extremely low. Wormwater should do a heal, saves him. Ooh, but obviously massive dive in coming in from the Zac to get double knock up, and all those kills are gonna go on to Missing Link. That's a triple kill for the Jinx, and she's gonna be scary.
Yeah, and that early game lead that Gomie gang had accumulated almost entirely gone now off of that botched play, off the botched dive in the mid lane, and the over aggression this time in the bot lane. 3 kills into Missing Link's pocket. As you said, that's going to feel great. Already starting to extend a bit of that CS lead, and that's purely off of Vux looking too deep, trying to get that final undertow through. It didn't land, but Missing Link popped the heal anyway to keep Circuit alive, and that just means that Gomie gang, everything that they'd been working towards in this early game has completely evaporated away.
Yeah, and so far, true. Like the overextension kind of has been the name of the game for many of the plays that have happened, which have given Holy Divers a way back into it from what they were down before. Because the dive in the mid lane that you saw against Young Walrus, right? Like that was the Olaf chasing a bit too far, along with kind words to under tower. Although a fantastic shockwave coming in, from the Oriana, they also just didn't respect that potential and chase far to win, and the bot side as well. And just looking for the final kill, not respecting the damage coming out from the other side, and now Missing Links is gonna have permanent priority in this lane.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that really turned that bot lane fight around, though, was Stolen, right? Being out of vision, getting the elastic slingshot into that double knockup on Vux and Comfy Dog was huge.
Stolen pops it. Ragnarok gets a lot of damage onto Stolen. Has to flash out. Use the heal too. Use the Let's Bounce to stay alive for a little bit longer. Nice pull from Kind Words, and use the ult as well, but will not need it as the slimes come out. Should be able to go in and get the kill. Shockwave will not save his jungler as Young Waters pops that.
Yeah, this time around, they're able to get the kill onto Stolen rather cleanly. Unfortunately, this time, Rare Candy didn't have TP available, wasn't able to use that as a safety tool for Stolen. So, Vux and Kind Words, they're able to get the kills. The problem being, though, is that you see jungle flash down, mid flash down as well for Kind Words, and that definitely doesn't feel great if you're committing that hard to kill somebody.
Mhm.
Although at the end of the day, they get the kill. They didn't get the bonus gold, though, because the death from below did not get that reset because Cell Division was available.
As Seishiki just has to flash in lane because he was too scared of the electricity, slowing it down. But Confidant might be in a little bit of trouble as he takes a huge chunk from the Morgana. Has like that was this is looking. If you're the Ash right now, you are scared in lane.
Yeah, I mean, like with those 3 kills, I think Missing Link is so enabled, or probably feels enabled to play aggressively. They have the priority in the bottom lane as well as the mid, which means that's the second dragon overall in this game going over to the side of Holy Divers, but some action in the top lane.
Already, Perk Starfry pops the ultimate, gets the heal off, and the level 2. Also the level 2 heal from the Latvia as well. It's like gets the solo kill up on the top side. That's who would have thought a B5 Renekton wouldn't work out?
I mean, Renekton is generally just a very annoying champion to play against for the vast majority of top laners off of... Oh, gank coming in bot lane.
Tragical miss yet again. The Ragnarok has to be used just to escape by the Olaf as a Rocky has a huge hit. And it doesn't even matter. It's just the autos will go to take him down. But now Dira is in trouble. Rock, it's out. One more auto should be able to do it. That's a double kill for the Jinx. Unless she can go in and get the triple. Yes, she can. That's the second triple for Missing Link of the game.
Yeah, second triple again, and second triple for effectively the same reason, right? Vux going way too over aggressive. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow going completely wide, straight through the uprights, field goal. But the points, those 3 kills, they actually end up going into Missing Link's pocket. Very good on the team to coordinate, get those kills through. I think like the minions actually ended up killing Selshiki initially, and then that gets the excited passive going, uh, being able to chase down Vux because Ragnarok is no longer available. Comfy Dog Flash not there, so very very easy kills to come through, and putting Missing Link up to 6 kills. Now we're in a bit of a pause. That's highly unfortunate.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but we should be getting back into it right away. As I believe one of the top laners, the top laner for the red side did go ahead and go to the bathroom. So I imagine he'll be back in an absolute jiffy. But going back to the dive on the bot side, though, Vux Dira went down to try to look for a play going on to Missing Link. But as he got into lane, you saw Seishiki and Comfy Dog were almost nowhere really near him at all. And as he goes in the lane from the backside, he has to use Ragnarok to just get out.
Yeah, I mean, in the context of it being what it is, right? So Shiki and Comfy Dog, you said they weren't in the position that Vuxdira wanted, and that's not a bad. Like, it wasn't for a bad reason, because Tashiki
Yeah,
died to minions, right? There was no possibility of that Ash participating in the fight versus the Jinx Karma. There was so much damage already on Shishiki that had to disengage. And the moment the Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes wide, they couldn't commit for anything. But oh, more action in the bot lane.
yeah. Kind of gets spotted. Gets a stun onto 2. Nice little damage coming out of him, though. Ignite taking down onto Missing Link. But he just does so much damage. TP down for Brook Fry as well. And everybody's here. It's a party in the bot lane. As Shishiki takes a huge chunk of health stolen, gets smited. My Kind Words through the ult, and right now the Pike is looking for more targets, but it doesn't matter as electricity will not get him, but Suricate will use the flash. As you see, Mr. Link's cutting away onto the backside, get a lot of damage onto the members of Gomie gang though. Seishiki as well. Ooh, that was a nice chuck onto him, and the flash of Young Waters will take him down eventually. But still, ooh, we see Rare Candy sitting on the box side that goes in, pops the ultimate, doesn't gets a stun onto Comfy Dog. The Missing Link is still free falling onto the backside. Was rocking to hurt a lot, but oh, Perk Starfry with the brave and absolutely massive play. Flashes in with the ultimate, gets the heal. That's a triple for him.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane as it looked like such a protracted fight. going back and forth, right? It kicks off with Kindwords only going forward, looking for a double stun onto Missing Link and Serket, but Serket was the only one who got stunned after Missing Link actually positioned very well away, but in addition to getting shielded up by the Karma, having the movement speed to walk away from that stun, but it looked like that overcommit, right? Kindwords only, he couldn't find much, and then stolen elastic slingshots in straight into the pike hook, gets pulled in. The knockup is canceled. Instant death from below gets Kindwords only that reset, but the pike ended up falling to the Karma, who flashed forward with the mantra Q. And then in addition to that, the fight just kept breaking out, right? Pork Stir Fry TPing down, Rare Candy as well. And while things looked so good with Young Walrus picking up an additional kill, with all those flashes forward, Pork Stir Fry ended up having Chemo Plague come back up, completely turning the fight around, nabbing himself the triple kill. And we were talking about how the Jinx was still able to, was still looking very good, and that's very true, still having a very large gold lead. But take a look at the top. Huge
Stolen
difference.
has to flash each other because the arrow does land, and it's a 41 situation. Now it just depends who kills the last line, and it does go over to Kind Words only. Like, I would like that go over to Seishiki considering how far behind his lane, but still, not bad.
I don't mind the gold necessarily going onto the Pike, especially as long as Pike is able to get a kill with Death from Below. It didn't happen in that circumstance, but Pike in general is a champion that's able to accelerate the team just off of that gold passive. But yeah, just trying to finish the thought of what I was going for between Pork Stir Fry and Rare Candy. Take a look. Gold difference or CS difference almost 60. Gold difference is absolutely massive. You see that solo kill come through. Oh my goodness. That Renekton is 0-3-0. And the
Oh,
Vladimir is just 501, 700 gold bounty. Pork Stir Fry completely controlling this game.
Ray Pork Stir Fry sucked the absolute soul coming off of Rare Candy. Almost all his health gone into a single transfusion. What we see on the bot side, though, all I'm looking for play yet again. Because something that can make a lot of damage, pretty much get solo kill up on the backside. Seishiki too, putting up a lot of autos as we go ahead and get the kill. As well on to Siricat. You love to see that. That was excellent.
And that is exactly what Gomie Gang wanted to happen in those earlier two gangs. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Pork Stir Fry? Okay.
yeah.
Geez. Playing it loose, guys. But that's exactly what Gomie Gang wanted to get done in those earlier two ganks, right? You want to bait the Jinx Karma forward, get the Enchanted Crystal Arrow down, and the Olaf Ragnarok and rolling through those two. But
Mhm.
especially because you see there that Missing Link burned the exhaust while Ragnarok was still active, so none of the debuff goes, or none of the slow goes through. I think the damage debuff might happen, but even then, it doesn't. There's nothing that reduces true damage, so Olaf's still able to find the kill. Oh man, it's going
As
from
we
bad to worse.
see, Orion uses Shockwave locked up Stewart, knocked up though, and taken out by the Pike, but slowly stolen just right there for the return kill onto him as well. That's a shutdown coming from him. Comfy Dog has absolutely no escape. That's going over to Missing Link. 7-2 on the Jinx.
Yeah, Young Walrus ends up dying there. The shockwave didn't actually land, but the thing that messed up Kind Words only was the Pike's own ability going forward
Ooh,
there in terms of
nice
the
time
stun.
stuff.
Or Starfry, bit of a
Oh,
dangerous position.
yeah, getting aggressive. Likely just gonna go ahead and clear out the waves. He's stolen there on the top side too, but likely won't go ahead for anything. But you're seeing Pork Stir Fry become an absolute menace in the side lane. They have to go ahead and send Missing Link to go in and contest it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real way for Rare Candy to even hope to deal with Pork Stir Fry now, especially once that Phase Rush proc comes through. Man, what is Renekton gonna do versus a Vladimir that has Phase Rush 2 levels up on you? I actually don't think there's anything that the Renekton can do other than like flash and hope to stay alive.
Stolen words. Yeah, just cues away for safety. Doesn't get stunned up by the Pike though, but okay. That's all fine. So meanwhile, but since you did see that the Zac was on the bot side, Rift Herald is picked up by Vux Jira, which is really solid though. So he's consistently being able to find these proactive plays and get neutral objectives across the map.
Yeah, absolutely. Get those neutral objectives. Use the lead that you have right now, right? As you can see, Gomie Gang almost 7k gold up. So as long as you own the map, Olaf, you are going to be scaling down eventually. So let's just get what we can when there isn't that possible dive available. Pork Stir Fry is going to continue pressuring the top lane and holding what's now 2 members there. So they're going to be a dive here down bot, though.
Yeah, Seishiki is almost by himself, as you do see all his team come down. Nice root coming down to Rare Candy. Takes a lot of damage, but Olaf is unstoppable as the ultimate pop for Rare Candy. Megadethron will go ahead and miss, but Stolen is left alone by himself. The final volley will go ahead and give the kill over to Seishiki as he almost dies to the tower. Shots traded back and forth as that should be bot tower for them. Yeah.
Yeah, relatively clean dive coming in through there, finding that Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Oh no, missing Link.
He's already exhausted. Kind of works only as well. Takes a bit of damage, but Link is here. His autos do too much, but he doesn't have the follow-up. Nice disengage.
Yeah, Serket is just staying on missing Link. As you can see right now, they're pretty much connected at the hip. Just because you need everything to keep this Jinx alive, not just fundamentally in terms of comp, but even in terms of gold and the rest.
Young Wallace is caught out,
goodness,
taken down immediately. That's the power of the pike right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and just to highlight what I mean, right? Every single member of Gomie Gang has a gold lead over their laning opponent, with the exception of Seishiki, right? The only person with a significant gold lead on the side of Holy Divers is missing Link on this Jinx, 9k gold.
But Link is being chased down, pops the heal, but just get run down by the Olaf, and so is bot lane partner as Serkets dies too, and so does mid lane turret.
Yeah, as you can see there, as that dive got going.
Fly for Pork Stir Fry, pops the Black Shield, Stolen is there as well. He's running into their base as Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes ahead and misses, but they're going on to the inhibitor.
Yeah, so as that dive got going right there, it looked like Vux was gonna die to the tower damage, but once again, it's that Olaf interaction with the Vicious Strikes, with the Triumph, so much healing coming through, and Holy Divers, they can't hold on to their base.
Not at all, as Coffee Dog flashes in, gets the Infernal Chain, stuns down onto 3, and Gomie Gang looking to go ahead and end here. Coffee Dog does die for his trouble, the post right in the middle of 3, trying to fight whatever he can, pops the ult, gets the kill onto Young Walruses, but might go in and drive for his trouble, shut down for missing Lake, and she's free firing away, misses the rocket, gets the triple though. This might be the quadra here. True Light goes ahead, one more auto. Oh, come on, get the slow, give it to him, and they will deny him that possibility, but that goes so wrong. Oh, Olaf gets caught up. Oh, woo! Vux turns it back over and gets a double. This is absolutely insane.
Yeah, so what happened is it's the same interaction.
He's still going.
Okay. No, it's the exact same interaction a third time, right? Missing Link, you're getting excited, you're going crazy, you get that triple kill, you want the quadra, you want the penta, but Vux, he's like, wait, I'm at 20% health, Olaf, and turns on Vicious Strikes, executes missing Link, gets a huge amount of healing, finishes off Stolen too, and it's like that case of like, you're not locked in here with me, I'm locked in here with you. It's like oh my gosh, Vux Dira with that, just with the healing coming through on the Olaf with that Triumph Rock, is having such a high degree of control in circumstances like that.
Comfy Dog in the middle of missing Link and Serket. We see the Pike is there to help him out, but he just goes down way too fast. Serket goes to pick one up, Stolen in the middle of 2 as well. Gets the first arm, but doesn't land the second, as that'll be all.
Yeah, well, the other thing I wanted to finish out there, though, is that you can see that Pork Stir Fry, with that shutdown that went on to missing Link right there, only 3 stacks on the Magi Soul Stealer, so there's no enhanced movement speed, there's not a ton of AP coming off the item. Vux, you might have to pop Ragnarok.
Vuxdir, as he does go exactly as you said, pops Ragnar to go ahead and get out though. Like, although Holy Dive is a plan from behind, it's still quite ahead. As you see,
Ooh.
oh, huge shockwave wombo combo into 2. That's absolutely 6 so far, but the Vlad's taking away on the health bar on the back, so he's trying to do as much as he can. For Starfry and Seikichi, trying to do as much damage to go ahead and live, as that'll be a 3 for 2 so far for them. We'll see if they go ahead and get more, but they will not, but they're going to back off.
Yeah, everything being considered, though, Holy Divers, they're not necessarily losing out in that circumstance. Rare Candy isn't even there. As you can see, the Renekton's been relegated to, hey, hold the base, as the rest of the team is trying to hold the bot lane. Whoa, Pork Stir Fry getting quite aggressive there, though.
Yeah, I mean, but I think at this point he has every right to be. He is 7-1 with a respectable 9-stack Medjas. So like, they're not too bad for him. So I would expect him to come up with a Spellbinder at this point, but I guess not since he went for the Rabadon's first item for just that burst of AP.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really blame him looking for that Rabadon's, especially because he had that Magi Soul Stealer stacking up so very much well. But you can see the needlessly large rod in the pocket right now, and I'm guessing that that's what Pork Stir Fry wants to itemize towards at this point. That being the Spellbinder, I mean. Otherwise, as you said, has that respectable 9-stack Magi's, playing quite well on his own. What I would like to see here from Gomie Gang, though, is stop pushing the lanes, because the enemy team, they're starting to defend their base rather efficiently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now there is that thing called the Baron that is currently up on the map. You
Yeah.
could peel back towards it, set up vision, bait the enemy team forward, and then either fight or grab the Baron and end through that, because then you'll have the Baron's up minions that are resistant to the magic damage that young Walrus can put through, eliminate a potential source of wave clear, so to speak.
Because honestly, right now, Gomie Gang, the way that they're pushing it looks like, as Pro Star Fry, stunned up a little bit, though, instead of lands onto 2 young Walrus right here. He should be absolutely dead. Shockwave hits nobody. Pika will not be needed, as Stolen is just being absolutely taken down. On the backside, the True Light 2 is free firing away. Oh, but Seikichi goes down. There's a lot of damage, like, absolutely eliminated. But Vuxdir is just too far ahead. Pork Starfire just does too much damage, and Gomie Gang will take the first game.
Yeah, and I really liked the call here right before the end that Gomie Gang made, right? Pork Stir Fry is like, guys, look, we have top, we have mid, they're pushing in. I'm going to walk with these waves, and they need to send at least 3 people to respond to me. The 2 that don't end up being Stolen and Young Walrus. The Ash Arrow goes through onto Young Walrus, which means there is no disrupting shockwave for a potential dive. Stolen couldn't do much to keep the mid laner alive, and thus the team got split. Divide and conquer, and Holy Divers end up going down in that first game.
And honestly, True Light, it all started from the beginning where you saw Gomie Gang got the first kill, and the Olaf was already 3-0. Although in between that mid game, it was a little bit shaky, because you saw like Missing Lake was getting far ahead. He was doing so much damage, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter. An Olaf who is ahead is an Olaf that can carry. And because he consistently was able to find dragons, find Rift Herald, push their advantages, and not even counter really Pork Stir Fry up on the top side, pretty much solo pushing to the base. Like, it was well done all across the map. But this is a best of 3, so I wouldn't necessarily count out Holy Divers just yet. So that being said, you don't want to go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Style. Welcome back, mi amigos and mi amigas. I am Ravish, joined by the True Light, and we're ready to get into game number 2 for Gomie Gang versus Holy Divers. Gomie Gang to go ahead and take game number 1 off of them, but this is best of 3, so anything can happen. True Light, how you feeling after the first game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. Watching Gomie Gang right there have such a dominant, such a strong overall game 1, especially up there in that top lane with Jungle through Pork Stir Fry and Wisdira. But we are in that ban phase for game 2. You can see that Gomie Gang targeting the support so far, taking... Oh, okay, so it looked like Thresh, but they switched to LeBlanc at the last second. So I do believe that's Karma LeBlanc banned away from Holy Divers at the moment. Otherwise, Holy Divers, they've taken the Graves off the table. That was banned. Okay, so LeBlanc, nice. We just got confirmation from our producer. And okay, yeah, and they rounded out with Thresh on the other side of things. Holy Divers, they're looking to round out their ban phase despite that rather hard loss from the previous game, though I don't see any real adjustment. The bans so far are the exact same.
Yeah, without the addition of the karma that they had, which was, I find, not necessarily what allowed them to lose. They don't necessarily like change anything up, but as we see, Holy Divers that do go ahead and ban out the Ashe, which is not bad at all. I think, like, yet again, it's just I find they're just kind of just choking and struggling whatever they can out out of Gochi Gang and on the other side, out of Holy Divers as well. As it's not the Ashe band at the end, which I guess the link was a little bit bugged there for me. So with that being said, Gochi Gang will go ahead and pick up the Ashe B1.
Yeah, it looked like it was Ashe on my screen as well, but the timer ran out before they locked it down, so I'm not 100% sure what ended up happening, what that final ban was. But Gomie Gang, as you said, they lock in the Ashe. Caitlyn this time was not banned, so that has incentivized Holy Divers to lock in Caitlyn. They take away the Olaf from Gomie Gang this time, so we are going to see a different draft coming through for GG.
See, and that's what's interesting to me is because considering the Caitlyn was up, I'm not too sure, why Gomie Gang wouldn't go ahead and take up the Caitlyn B1, considering Caitlyn is one of the most oppressive, you could say, ADCs in the game right now, especially since especially with the Morgana too. But on the other side, the Holy Divers go ahead and choose to opt into the Caitlyn Olaf. Go ahead and choose to opt in to get the Caitlyn and Olaf yet again. And the Lux pick from Gomie Gang, which I'm assuming will be matched by the Morgana on the other side by Holy Divers.
Yeah, and you call it like you see it, Holy Divers. They are hovering that Morgana right now. Not terribly surprising, as you said. And as we get into this next ban phase, really quickly, I don't mind having the Lux and the Trundle locked in there. Lux just being that instantaneous, like preemptive, even in this case, pick into the Morgana, just because the additional damage can pop through the Black Shield rather easily, in addition to the fact that Lux's shielding right now is just very, very strong. Overall, Trundle, a rather interesting pick here, at least into Olaf as far as I'm concerned, just because Trundle did get a little bit of a, I think the movement speed on E was nerfed a little bit ago, and it's also typically a pick that you see into hyper tanks, or at the very least strong tanks on the other side of the rift. But you don't really see that being reflected in the picks that HD has gotten in so far.
Yeah, I find more often than not, I do see the Trundle matchup usually going into the Volibear, because although he can't necessarily match him in the jungle, what he can do, I find, is at least be able to take a bit of the tankiness away and still offer a pretty solid frontline overall. But the final bans coming in, it will be the set locked away, but I believe coming in from Holy Divers, but besides that, though, still standard bans you've seen before, with the Urgot and Shen as well. So not giving those power picks to either side. Urgot, as you said before, is actually a comfort pick for the top laner of Gomie Gang. And Shen, honestly, is overall just a really strong pick. A lot of cool pressure. As the final ban coming in for Gomie Gang will be the Orianna.
Yeah, and I do believe that will be their adjustment ban from the previous, or their other adjustment ban from the previous game. With Young Walrus having a number of decent enough shockwaves, as well as the fact that Orianna is a very reasonable blind pick champion. But in response, HD, they lock in the Mordekaiser, which I have seen flexed into the mid lane, but more often than not is a top lane. GG answer with the Gangplank, whose
Mhm.
are so magical he can leave a death realm.
See, and I actually like the Gangplank pick here coming in from Gomie Gang. Gangplank I find is a later which can pretty much I just sit back and farm and find his advantages and doesn't necessarily have to
Wait,
play super forward. And plus with the Cannon Barrage coming in for him too, like it should be extremely strong as you see the Blanc pick, which I'm not too sure if that's a client bug or maybe perhaps we probably just misread a ban before which allowed that final pick to come in for Gomie again was going to go ahead and wait for confirmation.
yeah, that's pretty weird to me. At least because I thought that the LeBlanc had been banned away. HD, they lock in the Blitzcrank though, so I think that's indicative of that's a
Oh.
Caitlyn Blitz bottom lane. Likely the Morgana that will be flexed to the mid lane instead versus LeBlanc, just so you can have that black shield. But the other thing that you can think about in terms of being an issue for LeBlanc in general
Mhm.
is wave clear, or like is farming. It's not necessarily wave clear.
Yeah.
And Morgana with Tormented Soil can just AFK push the lane into the tower, force LeBlanc into a rough spot to farm. So maybe that's what Holy Divers are thinking of.
Yeah, it's I don't mind the Blitzcrank pick here. It looks like they're going for much more of a pick heavy composition yet again on the side of Holy Divers. I would have preferred to see maybe something like a Corki. Because I understand you didn't necessarily want to take that matchup for LeBlanc. Perhaps you weren't too sure as to what you wanted to play. And I think Corki would have been an excellent pick here. You know, just offer a lot more damage, really good late game scaling as well. So you have the insurance there. And into the LeBlanc, he's a fantastic pick. He lanes really well against her. And plus, what you were saying before, True Light, he offers good wave clear.
Yeah, but you know that's not how HD decided to round out their composition,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
perhaps they just feel that Morgana can play safe enough into LeBlanc without having the same pressure pressure put onto Young Walrus to carry. I think Orianna being reflective of a more utility oriented mid lane pick, and maybe that's what they want Young Walrus on as well. Just something more utility oriented, like find that vital ability, Shockwave in the case of Orianna, Binding in the case of Morgana. But these are the compositions that we're going to be dealing with heading into game two.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to redo.
Yeah, so what I'm getting as well is that unfortunately, due to some client issues there, we are going to have to go ahead and cut to a short break. But we'll be right back. Though, don't click that mouse button. We'll see you very soon. Welcome back, everybody, to Style Esports. Apologies for the long wait. We just had figured a couple of different issues, but we are back into it for game number two for Gomie Gang versus Holy Divers and True Light. This game number two, I feel should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Holy Divers, they're looking to fire back, and I guess their response is to take Gomie Gang's strategy from game one, looking for an invade. Don't think. Oh, I was gonna say, I don't
Don't
think they're gonna
find
find anyone.
anybody,
It's
but
highly
kind
unfortunate.
words gets binded up, and all five of them are there. That's first blood going already over Young Waters.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough that Kind Words ends up dying right before the minions spawn right there. Even worse, though, is that Young Walrus is the person that gets that first blood. Going to be walking into lane with an extra longsword. So, going to be putting that Rumble at a potential disadvantage, to say the least. Although no summoners were burned this time around, so I guess it's, not the worst of worlds for Gummy Gang.
Yeah, and with the Lucian pick that you brought up, the True Light, it is interesting how we've seen Lucian get his sort of resurgence, back into the meta, considering the recent buffs that he got as well. I haven't necessarily seen him mid, more often than not. I might see the Lucian top into a auto attack type champion, or maybe even bot, or maybe even bot if you're looking to go up against a sort of shorter ranged ADC, as you see some good training going on at the bot lane. But mid is new to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as Lucian mid is concerned, he's a little bit more dynamic. Oh, wow,
Oh,
gank him already.
Stolen gets the other two already, gets a little bit of damage that won't force anything out though. Young Waters dives right in, forced the flash up from Kind Words. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, forcing the flash out and Young Walrus only burning the ignite in that particular situation. But in top lane, oh man.
Oh, rare candy, that barely living with a hair's breath. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that keeps the Mordekaiser alive in that circumstance.
What Kind
Oh,
Words is dead. That's just oh, that was man. That longsword paying dividends.
yeah, the longsword paying dividends as well as that light slinger passive, getting that extra automatic auto attack definitely helps Young Walrus, and he's going to be extending that early game dominance that Lucian always tends to have. Oh dear, a lot of action in the bottom lane.
This link gets added on. Sorry, say Shiki flashes in, of course, it gets killed onto him too. As Serico takes a ton of damage, binding onto him, but I don't think they can change these two for under tower. Oh my god, but yes, they can. The E with the final auto gets say Shiki a double.
Yeah, you can see that Seishiki actually started walking away. Didn't think that Comfy Dog was going to be able to lock lock circuit down, but they found the light binding into the Lucent Singularity, enabling Seishiki to get that last auto attack down really quickly. The thing that actually kept Rare Candy alive up there in the top lane is Doran's Shield. Not just because Doran's Shield gives you extra regen, but a number of patches ago,
Mhm.
they changed it around so that Doran's Shield has a passive of regenerating up to 40 health over 8 seconds based on the percentage of missing health that you have, right? And Rare Candy in that particular circumstance was missing a lot of missing a lot of his health.
Yeah.
So despite that final parlay coming through from Pork Stir Fry, even with the corrupting potion stack, actually also due to the corrupting potion stack, if I'm being honest, because it refreshes, it's a damage over time, which refreshes that Doran Shield passive, giving Rare Candy that much more regen to stay alive. So item difference, working out very well for Rare Candy up there in the top lane. Unfortunately, you do see already down both summoners, so potentially the domination from game one might be continuing for Pork Stir Fry up here top.
And that's really what I worry about for him, because I know we were saying before, True Light, it can't really be easy to go ahead and come back from a game like that. Like, just considering that must affect your mental greatly, and considering he is already being pushed into the Olaf, but we do see, Stolen is running up top side. Like he'll go ahead and help out Rare Candy. It's just got back from the back, just use TP, and the lane is looking, and the lane is looking quite pushed in, up onto red side though. So we'll see if they go ahead and execute on that. But if they cannot, and Pro Starfire can get the same sort of push into into the tower and almost into the base of Holy Divers, that can yet again create that can yet again create that sort of win condition which you've seen come out of the game number one.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that front. Gangplank can scale incredibly well into the late game. As you mentioned, Stolen, it looks like he is very well positioned to start moving up to look for a gank. But with that ward in the river, Pork Stir Fry should be aware of what's happening the moment that Stolen tries to walk forward there. The other additional issue here is that you can see that Pork Stir Fry still has enough or might have enough mana off the corrupting potion charge as well as the everlasting biscuit in his inventory to get the W off if an undertow slow lands, and in addition to that still has flash available too. So even if Stolen comes up top, I'm not entirely confident in Stolen and Rare Candy's ability to convert that jungle attention, that gank, into a kill.
Yeah, definitely. So, but I would also contend to say too, either he does a flash available, let's say, like hypothetically, because that's really what we're doing right now as well. He could possibly go ahead, use the barrel chain to go ahead and get the speed buffs and try to walk away in case the undertow does land. So, because I have to imagine Broke Surfer wants to go ahead and save his flash for as long as possible, since he likely knows because he'll have a permanent push up at the top side. More often than not, Stolen is going to be roaming there. You know, is definitely gonna be roaming there because you see bot side though, because bot side at this point, although they're not doing so well, I can't imagine Stolen invest a lot of time into them, considering how Shaky already has 2 kills. So he's probably gonna go ahead and gain a permanent push. But considering it is the Morgana Caitlyn, it just takes a good binding along with the trap and headshot to go ahead and win all these trades.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, right? Turning our attention down towards that bottom lane. You think that effectively um, GG have drafted here the same bottom lane that, or not GG, sorry, HD, they switched sides. HD uh, drafted almost the same bottom lane that GG had in game one, right? Specifically referencing the ability of Morgana and Olaf, right? Because in these circumstances, you can just throw the Black Shield onto Olaf. He doesn't have to Ragnarok immediately. And once that finally expires or gets popped, Olaf can use Ragnarok. You get that bonus movement speed walking towards an enemy champion. And
Mhm.
what are Ash or Lux going to do in those circumstances? The best they can hope to do is flash away, maybe get the heal and the prismatic barrier through from
Mhm.
Lux as well for that additional survivability under tower, but they're going to be very hard pressed should the engage come through. Now, in this circumstance for HD for Holy Divers, that isn't as clean as it was or as it could have been for Gomie Gang in game one because they have the Caitlyn available this time. There is no enchanted crystal arrow to come in from long range and get that easier engage. So we'll see how it shapes up. Once Stolen hits 6, maybe he'll be more incentivized to go down there, look to get the bottom lane turned around a little bit more. Because if you look at the gold breakdown overall, there is a pretty significant lead there in the mid lane for Young Walrus, having almost double the gold that Kindwords only has. But the differences are really to be made in top and bottom lane, right? You can see Pork Stir Fry on that gangplank already getting the gold going.
Mhm.
And then in the bottom lane, Seishiki already 600 gold up over the AD and or sorry over Missing Link and Comfy Dog. She's doing rather well for herself, being 300 gold exactly up over Circuit.
So, two things based upon what you said there, True Light, which honestly, some solid points you raised. I did want to say that a huge point of contention in those dives they were talking about from Stolen will be the use of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow that we saw last game. Seishiki didn't have too many that were all that excellent. Many of them did unfortunately go through all the enemies, didn't really land. I think I only saw about two which actually landed on actual targets. So being able to land those, especially in team fights or long range ones, be able to get a pick would be huge, or just some sort of stun. Like definitely that would definitely be a great use of it. But yet again, the Black Shield and the Ragnarok do kind of dissuade the use of it. But if it can come out early on enough, it could definitely save their life. Secondly, I do also want to say real quick is that bringing up the point of the rumble in the mid side because we haven't necessarily really touched on it. Considering how ahead young Walrus is, he's already 2-0 lane. You can tell he's gonna bully this rumble. I find all Kind Words has to do is to be able to just find enough farm, get the Leandries, and just land a good enough equalizer.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Referencing this Rumble Lucian matchup that we're dealing with, right? Kind words only. You're in that gold hole. You're at a deficit. You definitely want to itemize towards the Leandries, get the Leandries, and something that's just so important against the side lanes here is that they're rather immobile, right? Caitlyn only has 90 caliber net in terms of staying safe. Mordekaiser would actually have to cast the Death Realm, and Equalizer is a pretty long range ability. And in addition to that, it does a lot of damage, which means it would destroy the Black Shield almost instantaneously, still cause the slow to go through. So if I were in Kind Words only spot, I agree with you. I need to farm up. I need to hit 6. I get that Leandries in my pocket and then look to the side lanes to get my
Mhm.
team ahead because they're the ones who are already going, right? I have the 2-0 Ash. I have the Gangplank with a 2 summoner advantage. So let's lean into that. Let's snowball my side lanes. My lane is not going too hot, so I should be working with my team.
Now, as this time does go ahead and tick down, though, we'll go ahead and wait for the DC issues to be resolved. So, you definitely don't want to miss this game. We talked about it before. A lot can happen, and Holy Divers do want to make sure they can go ahead and go to game number 3. Or perhaps you might see Gomie Gang finish it off with this clean 2-0. Don't click that mouse button. We'll see you extremely soon. Right back on Style. Welcome back, everybody. Apologies about the very long pause as you try to figure things out with the team. But we saw with the dire top lane, though, Pork Stir Fry had to use the flash almost immediately. So all the simulations we were running in our head have been flubbed truly.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that Stolen was pathing up towards that area. Pork Stir Fry, he probably did know the gank was going to happen, but what can you really do with his gangplank when that undertow slow goes through? You can see that Pork Stir Fry ended up going for that cull, opting into a potentially long lane. He's getting smacked up here.
Yeah, taking some pretty unfavorable trades overall, but Stolen though gets caught in the middle of two, still level 4, doesn't have the Ragnarok, will not be able to get away as Vux was in a little bit of trouble with the red saving his life and get the kill.
Yeah, they knew that Stolen was going to be backing, likely moving towards that bottom side jungle of his. So Vux, he's like, hey, Comfy Dog, come here. They find the binding, they find the chomps down. You can actually see that Vux barely landed the slow on Frozen Pillar, but it didn't end up being much of an issue. They're able to lock down that kill now, and as you can see, Vux is starting to pull ahead of his jungle opponent, uh, looking to hit about 30 CS as opposed to Stolen's 17, which definitely feels good if you are GG.
Yeah, like it feels absolutely excellent overall, though, and especially that flash top side. I would expect Stolen to go roam up again too, because to just go ahead and honestly just give Rare Candy space to farm, considering he's already down 20.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you once again on that. And the other thing is, if you like, you gotta hope that Rare Candy can hit 6 as soon as possible, because in those circumstances, Stolen can just go top, look for the undertow. Ooh, gank going on here in mid.
Yeah, we see it. Binding comes actually lands right onto the Lucian, but the bullets are way too much. The underthrow from Stolen takes out the Lux. It looked like a good roll, but doesn't execute. Oh, but Equalizer is barely hitting up Young Waters. Really let the slow that he was looking for. He's over here. The Kaiwers can't do anything. Oh, when it comes back to it, here comes the Trundle. The troll takes a bite out of Stolen, and he will huff, he will puff, and he will take down the Olaf.
Yeah, the roam coming through initially from Comfy Dog there, looking to shut down Young Walrus, ends up finding the light binding into the bush. The problem was didn't know where Stolen it was, didn't know where Stolen is, ends up using an axe in the face as well as the full culling going through into that Lux takes her down. But then the fight continues as Kind Words goes back to his turret, drops down the equalizer, and at that point, Vuxtira had already arrived, burned the flash from Young Walrus, and Stolen didn't have much built
Oh,
there. Okay.
Comfy dog, a little bit of BM, looking to get looking to get something back on the Young Walrus.
Yeah, and I actually like this move from Comfy Dog. Ooh, I really like this move
Oh,
from Comfy Dog. I like the move
ooh.
from Comfy Dog, knowing that there is an unfortunate, such so to speak, 4v5 going on.
Rare Candy gets taken into the death realm map, pops the Gangplank ultimate. I'm not sure you want to go ahead and take that fight, uses the shield. Oh, but it takes the passage. One more Spectre should do it. Gets the Q, will be able to do it. Oh, yes, he will. The passage just does too much damage. The parlay wasn't up. Rare Candy solo kill top side.
Yeah, as you said, the parlay wasn't up, and Pork Stir Fry doesn't have any of the daggers built that are necessary to be looking for the fight right there. That one last auto would have been the kill. The other thing working so well in Rare Candy's favor is that Conqueror healing him up, giving them the more adaptive stats, making Mordekaiser's combat power that much more significant. But yeah, just to finish the thought about Comfy Dog, I like the more heavy roaming coming through from her, because she's doing this knowing that Serket has unfortunately lost internet. They're in a 4v5. You want to let your AD have equal experience to the enemy AD. So that's why you see Lux roaming towards mid lane, harassing Stolen in the jungle. That way there's not too much XP being soaked up. And here is another roam
Yeah.
coming through.
Comfy dog gets the shield, gets slow taken down, about a quarter of his health taken down, but should be perfectly fine. And that's one huge point of contention, which we haven't necessarily mentioned yet. So as of right now, Saraket is unfortunately DC'd. But Holy Divers have decided, you know what, we'll go ahead, wait for him to come back. We set his internet, see what he can do, as he'll continue to go ahead and play out this 4v5. And they're not doing too bad of a job of it. Sure, they are losing pressure across the map due to losing the support, but I would still definitely commend them for doing this.
Yeah, especially, young Walrus there in the mid lane absorbing pressure, right? Actually getting roamed on, getting ganked significantly now as there is no support in that bottom lane. But staying very strong, right? 3-0 on the Lucian, working towards that Essence Reaver, and probably going to try to be as much of a carry for the team as possible as things go out, play out the Lucian power spike he has over Kind Words only at the moment. Here in the top lane, though, ooh,
Yeah, Rare Candy gets a nice little smackdown going on to Perk Starfry. Doesn't the Death Realm just yet? It just came back up. But Perk Starfry goes and it pops the health pods.
yeah, you can see Porkstar relying rather heavily on the health on hit that he gets from Cull, in addition to, as you mentioned, those corrupting potions working in his favor. Although Rare Candy did have an opportunity for himself right there. The Cannon Barrage was not available, as it's going to be coming up in the next couple of seconds right here. Meaning that there is way more potential for Porkstar to fight evenly. But talking about fighting evenly, got a gank in the bottom lane.
Oh, stolen. Nice crystal arrow going onto the missing link, though. The coffee does a lot of damage, but before that, though, Seishiki untouched on the bot side. Gets the trade kill. Missing link take a lot of damage as well. Has no mana. Doesn't land the binding. Should be able to get out, but mid lane, we also see Equalizer down to Young Waters. It gets ignited too. And with no ultimate down, forces the flash out of him as well as Vux Dira takes the Rift.
Yeah, you can see there in the bottom lane, I do like that Stolen, knowing that his AD is getting pushed in there, missing Link getting pressured so heavily. You saw that he comes down, looks for the engage, gets the Ragnarok down because the Enchanted Crystal Arrow makes its way onto missing Link, and they almost wrap up Comfy Dog. But the problem was that because the Enchanted Crystal Arrow hits missing Link, Missing Link wasn't able to go forward, get additional damage down, and once the stun wore off, immediately started channeling the Ace in the hole, but that got blocked by Seishiki, who killed the self-rooted Caitlyn and then turned back onto Stolen, meaning 2 kills into the... Or no, it was just 1, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just 1 kill on Seishiki, or for Seishiki in that circumstance. But an overall negative situation turning into a positive one for the bottom lane there of GG.
And Comfy Dog is making Stolen's life a living as he gets caught in the middle of the jungle and dies for it too. Trying to do a little bit of counter jungling, but no jungle is safe when we see Coffee Dog trying to get them down. Double Rare Candy pops a death from as he really goes out of it. Proc Stir-Fry flashes away, barely living the cannon brush. Oh, but the Hex Tech Proto Belt gets him down. That was insane. Young Walrus in the middle of an equalizer will not get some damage onto him. Bugsy not popping the ultimate just yet, but in tower for far too long in the shutdown. Going over to him.
Yeah, as you can see, Rare Candy once again getting a second solo kill in for himself, but once again on that bit of a knife's edge margin as both top laners were bleeding following Pork Stir Fry's flash. The difference maker being, though, that as you said, Rare Candy had the Hextech Proto Belt finished, Proto Belted forward, got that last little bit of damage he needed to finish off his laning opponent. Oh, we got some action going.
As we see, Stolen is mad at Comfy Dog for taking away the camps. I will not live as Seishiki. As there's a lot of damage, forces the flash out of Stolen, goes over to him too, gets the kill. He will be able to get missing Link as well as almost no mana. There it is. That's the double. That was close though.
Yes, Seishiki going wild after a hard commit onto Comfy Dog. The Ragnarok had worn off. There was no ace in the hole available. Felt very, very enabled to go forward there. Flashing over the wall, finishing off Stolen, but then in addition to all that, getting the volley back up just in time to finish off missing Link before the final auto goes through.
Oh, Pork Starfry taking a ton of damage, getting very overconfident, looking at the health bar of Rare Candy and dies for his zealousness. Takes one too many Qs to the face.
Yeah, like absolutely, and in the same beat of last game, although the script has been flipped.
Whoa! Comfy dog forgot he was support. That is still a 4-1 Lucian. Make that 5-1. Actually, Skywars is backing away. You missed the binding and the E. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, just a little bit of over-aggression coming through from Gomie Gang in that circumstance. Young Walrus punishing it very, very well. Up in the top lane, it's also another same case. Over-aggression, right? Pork Stir Fry feels enabled to look for the all-in after poking down Rare Candy with the barrel combos, but the other issue is that as long as Rare Candy is able to stay alive, gets the Conqueror going, gets the passive on, and is able to completely trade into Pork Stir Fry and turn the trade into a solo kill. And that's happened 3 times now. So Rare Candy, after that first game, definitely has to be feeling pretty darn good about it.
And right now, they're playing this 4v5 out excellently. I'm not sure if, if Gomie Gang decided that since it was a 4v5, they could play a lot more forward, but like doing exactly that. They're giving Holy Divers the way to consistently stay into the game. At a certain point, like, it's like, they're just like, yeah, they're just consistently giving them advantages they don't need to give. All they need to do right now is just like play out their lanes, work the macro,
Keep coming in the mid.
and like consistently work their lead. As Pork Stir Fry roams mid, they should really go ahead and get the tower here. Yeah, and they do over. Rare Candy roam down. It's a huge Q to Pork Stir Fry. He's dead. He does not live. The missing link on the bot side too, taking a ton of damage. One more volley should do it. Instead, it's the autos that finish him off. As Pork Stir Fry somehow managed to live there, but kind words did not. As the death realm is where he will stay, and Great Screen is what he will get.
Yeah, so I think that Gomie Gang, they're trying to push their advantage, as you said, just a little bit too hard, right? They're playing really over-aggressive. They're playing very forward. The thing that they are being rewarded for, though, is in general, they're getting the map, right? They have both of those early Drakes in their pocket. They have 3 towers. The things that they're giving up, unfortunately for them, are kills, which are making the solo lanes of Holy Divers that much stronger, right? Rare Candy going to 4-0-1, Young Walrus at that 5-1 point, already having the Essence Reaver completed, but they're still kind of getting choked out ever so slowly here, as that gold lead is almost hitting 6k now. It was 5k just a couple of minutes ago, and that's just off the fact that Gomie Gang are able to push the lanes that much better with their extra player. And also you saw there just that dive going through in the bottom lane, and there's just no way that Missing Link can stay safe versus this Axe Lux that he's forced to lane against.
Yeah, honestly, even though you are a Caitlyn, there's only so much range that you have. Like as we see, Stalin, we see a lot of pings coming out of the mid side. It looks like it was to go ahead and get the Rift Herald. But yeah, as you were saying before, like it's only so safe you can say. Actually, go ahead and pause the pro stuff. Right, caught in the middle of 2. Actually, uttered so much damage onto him.
Ooh.
Oh, that was so close. Fox Steers flashing and saving, Levi gets a kill back on the stolen 2. But you see, Kai was just with the pull back. As Young Waters taking very low. You see Pro Stir Fry. Oh, nice! And cuts the arrow and beautiful equalizer. They all collapse onto the Mordekaiser. That's a nice shutdown. Going over to Kind Words too. As Flash and force out from Missing Link as well. They should be able to go ahead, get the kill, and with the wave pushing in, that should be tower as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was just looked like a little bit of, once again, the same old narrative of the over-aggression of GG, almost getting punished once again by Holy Divers, right? You can see there that Pork Stir Fry was in a very bad position, stolen, aggressed onto him. But what was so huge was that Vuxdira came immediately, popped the Frozen Pillar, popped ulti, chomped down, stolen, and that meant the jungler almost instantaneously evaporated. Then the fight continued. Rare Candy and Young Walrus, they tried to convert, they tried to make the trade even, but they ended up being out of position. Enchanted Crystal Arrow finds its way onto the Mordekaiser. They throw the Equalizer down, burn the Lord of Death before that Death Realm can even come through. And they're able to get that shutdown onto Rare Candy, which is really important. And then they find Missing Link off the back of it as Young Walrus was just continued to retreat. But this looks like a pretty positive for Holy Divers here. They're able to sneak a dragon away from themselves.
Yeah, no vision on this dragon at all, going and denying that Ocean Soul. That's absolutely massive for them. Really good call coming in from Stolen to just go ahead and take that away. But I do want to go ahead and point out real quick, as it looks like that Lux Dinner actually denied the Rift Herald too from Stolen as they're passing around that and didn't pick up that mark. So that was absolutely huge too, as that could as that as a Rift Herald could also netted them to over the map a lot more because currently they have no towers to their name.
Hmm. Yeah, that Rift Herald could have been pretty vital in potentially opening up the map for them. But I think that if you are, ooh,
Missing lane, crystal arrow, volley, and this auto attack. Just see you later, buddy.
yeah, and there's just nothing that Missing Link can do about this at this point, right? Seishiki has gotten so many kills into his pocket. 702 on the Ash, has the board completed, has the Runeans as well, and there's literally nothing Missing Link can do against it. Oh,
Young Walrus too, pathing down to collect the mid tower as Riot Candy takes out the equalizer, though dodging the pill coming from Kind, whereas the passive is down. He's just not strong enough. We'll try to go ahead and get away, but the flash for Rare Candy to secure that kill. Meanwhile, on bot side, though, they're looking to go ahead and try to break over the base.
yeah, well done there by Rare Candy. Get that 1v1 off using the Death Realm almost immediately as the equalizer came down to effectively turn the Death Realm off. But the problem, also the additional problem being for Kind Words in that specific circumstance, was that he had self-silenced with the Rumble passive right there. Meant that he couldn't cast Flame Spitter, couldn't cast Electro Harpy.
Oh,
Oh
as
man!
we saw,
Oh no!
either way, the blue, the blast code doesn't necessarily work out, but Undertow just might as he zigs and zags all the way back to the enemy base, though. It all just depends who's gonna tire to. Will it be tower or will it be Kind Words? It will be Kind Words.
A little bit of a yoink from Kind Words' part right there, like getting that little proc of the Flame Spitter through, netting him the kill, but it was actually poor Stir Fry that had already committed the ultimate and I think would have gotten the kill from the tower aggro right there. But yeah, Stolen 073 on this Olaf. This is also partially due to the fact that you're playing in the 4v5. There's just not much you can do. And now, GG, Gomie gang, they're on this Baron very early on. Is there a possible contest coming through, though?
I highly doubt it. Red Candy's buying some. It's because the arrow and the fine light comes out it, and so is the equalizer, cutting off any path of success that he might have. He goes golden in his own realm. Just a couple more autos should do it, and there it is. As Lucian tries to come in, get the color out to steal away, but Shiki he pops to give up a little bit of trouble. Nice failure from Kind Words to save his laner, and Stolen just stands there, accepts his death. Young Walrus too. I thought he got away, man. You should have just ran away, accepted it. You could maybe defended your base and Missing Link. Pretty much the last one left alive, as that's pretty much the ace coming in from Gomie gang. But we just saw the Missing Link. They get a kill back on a pork stir fry, and they have the minions and they're gonna go ahead and push into the base.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about their young walrus running away. He actually did run away. The difference was that poor Stir Fry on that ward that you can see right near their inner tower that's down, TP'd in on that and ran straight onto Young Walrus, and that's why Young Walrus ended up going down. And there is the FF. Highly unfortunate circumstance for Holy Divers, everything being considered, but that will be the easy 2-0, or not relatively easy, but simple 2-0 coming through for Gomie gang. Very unfortunate circumstance for Holy Divers.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't agree more. It's just that's just the kind of stuff that it makes you say like you just hate to see it, right? Like it was looking pretty good for Holy Divers. They were playing decently well overall in the early game. They're finding picks like Olaf wasn't too bad. The killing Morgana bot lane was a bright spot, and on top lane, you saw like Mordekaiser doing really well against the game playing, finding these solo kills. It is quite unfortunate when that kind of stuff does happen. But with that being said, though, True Light, where can they find you if they want to see more of you?
You can find me on Twitter at TTL or VLM. That's pretty much my Twitter handle. My My League of Legends handle, if anyone ever wants to play, is Veritas Lux Mundi, all one word. But thank you for casting alongside me tonight.
Oh man,
Also,
I had an absolute blast. Thank you for saying that.
thanks, and also shout out to Jarl Carl, our host with the most.
Oh, absolutely beautiful production by Gerald Carl as always. If you want to go ahead and find more of me, you can always follow me at RAVISHKHANNA_ on Twitter. With that being said, thank you all very much for watching Style Esports. Good job to Gomie gang to winning the game, right? And we'll see you all tomorrow for another game as well. Good night.